McDonald. And today we're going to talk about why we can't have nice things. Specifically referring to kind of the lower tier jobs, coaching jobs in college football at the FBS level, and why, more or less, it's very hard to find stability in how basically the whole chain of command, all the way from the Alabamas of the world to the South Alabamas of the world, kind of is affected by coaching moves. So we're going to kind of talk about how the coaching carousel is spun up and why it is that there are certain coaches that are leaving to take other jobs where it looks like they could have succeeded at the last job, and maybe a little insider insight, and just a little bit of discussion on the topic. So first we're going to begin with the fact that Arizona, it appears, cannot have nice things. They have replaced Jedd Fisch with Brent Brennan after Jedd Fisch went to Washington. It is thought that Arizona, their athletic department, has been in some kind of hot water financially. And I think that basically what I've been told and what I've been hearing is that Jedd Fisch could not get the contract he wanted in terms of pay, which is why he's headed to Washington. It's been a huge pay raise for him, and I think that was the biggest motivation. As well as I would imagine Washington has a little more dedication, and you've got a little bit more dedicated NIL collective and money. And so Arizona, I think they'll be fine. I think Brent Brennan is a good coach. He struggled at San Jose State. He's not been great at staying over 500, but it's hard with the resources there. I don't think it's a great hire for Arizona. I think Jedd Fisch is a better coach. I'm not sure how Arizona will do, but they've managed to keep most of the roster, which is key. Noah Fafita is returning, who was the big backup quarterback who stepped in and really kind of led that team to success, and especially an Alamo Bowl victory. So to me, this kind of changes my trajectory on Arizona. I was very high on Arizona, especially after they beat Oklahoma. To me, the sky was the limit. I thought they were a playoff team next year. I thought they were, to me, a chance at winning it all and just being a very solid team, a surprising team, a come-from-behind team, like they were last year, developing themselves into a major brand in college football. And they haven't done that. And while there's still a chance that they may do so, I don't think Brent Brennan provides the same allure and expertise that Jedd Fisch had. And while Brent Brennan may be a sleeper hire and he may do great there, I believe that this kind of, Arizona's a little bit screwed just because of their financial situation and losing Jedd Fisch to what I wouldn't even say is necessarily a bigger brand. I think Arizona was building themselves into a brand, and I think they still are trying to. But Brent Brennan has all the things to win, and so did Jedd Fisch, and Jedd Fisch won. So maybe Brent Brennan will be able to get it done. But again, that's kind of just another testament to why we, and if you're a lower program, if you're an alumni of Arizona, one of these programs is not, a huge national brand, but is trying to become one. It's very hard in this modern era with NIL, and especially with the way paying coaches and players is structured, and it makes it even harder when you've got a struggling athletic department in terms of funding and having some issues with spending, even though they have all new facilities, which I thought was interesting and wanted to talk about because I think that's a big portion of what Arizona's future issues are going to be. And to me, the bigger kind of example of this is that Kane Womack was the head coach at South Alabama, who was left to be the defensive coordinator at Alabama under Kalen DeBoer. And this, it shows that really, to me, it indicates a deeper problem. To me, all of this indicates a deeper problem. And the problem is that I think there are two levels of college football at the FBS level. I think there needs to be another split. Because to me, the fact that anyone would go from a head coach job to go be a defensive coordinator is insane. Like, no one would do that in the NFL. I don't think that anyone would do that at the FCS level. So to me, it seems, almost the copious differences in resources between South Alabama and Alabama is huge. And while it hugely helps Alabama, because Kalen DeBoer now has, I think, one of the best coordinator, and I've said this before, one of the best, coordinator, head coach combos in all of football. It kind of feels like anytime that you find success with a coach, anytime you find success with even an assistant coach, he's immediately going to head to a place where maybe he can make a little more money, or maybe it's just a bigger brand. He can become a bigger name. So to me, it kind of shows that there are really two levels in terms of resources, and Group of Five teams hardly ever compete with the big names in the Power Five, or I guess really kind of Power Four, Power Two era now. And I think it's indicative. I think this is a great kind of little micro examples of what I think is the bigger shift to come, of almost going to abolishing conferences and just having something like the NFL has, right? Having maybe not abolishing conferences, but either abolishing conferences and just having, a commissioner and all of that, or going to a commissioner format that sees, two divisions that are sort of reminiscent of the SEC and then the Big Ten. And I think that's indicative of those changes, and I just think that that's a very interesting way to view this. And I wanted to share my thoughts on how I think that, the coaching carousel is in a way it's predictive in capability for the future, and it's predictive in the way that it can help, nudge change and indicate future change because of the decisions that coaches are making, because of where they want to put their services, where they want to offer their services, and for what amount and for what pricing, and how all of that works out, to me, has a big bearing on predicting the future of college football. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. And please subscribe to the channel. Please go listen to the podcast on Spotify. We get more in depth and go longer and give you more content. Please let me know what you think at beyondthesnapfootball@gmail.com. Please, message us on any platform, specifically through email, that you can with questions. We'll be happy to answer them. But yes, thank you all for listening. It's, really great to be doing this, and have a great day.